go to the phone lines and take another phone call. This is JJ. JJ, thank you for calling.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if you guys had heard about the 57 Paris airport workers that had security clearance. They're on the terrorist watch list, and they're employed at the airport.
Yes, I had heard about that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. And one, can only wonder, what other, installations in Europe have been compromised, for lack of a better word. But certainly this is, it's no surprise. But anyway, thank you, JJ. We appreciate your call out there. The Colonel, another thing that I've heard more and more, actually the liberal media actually reporting that there is fury in the ranks, both of retired military and active duty military, fury at this administration and their fecklessness and their lack of strategy and unwillingness, evidently, to win this war. I mean, the military, they don't want to fight wars, they want to finish wars.
I know without question that with the retirees, those veterans that have served and everything, I promise you that they are in total upheaval, because some of those men and women, they fought in Iraq, they fought in Afghanistan, and they're seeing now this going on and there's no action taken. It makes you feel like, why would you have to go do that, And so that is, you want to talk about people that are upset? You talk to the parents of somebody that lost a loved one. You talk to the wife of someone that lost a loved one. That's the people that are really upset, because they don't see us doing what we should be doing, and they're right. Within the ranks itself, yes, there is some. And it's very interesting, because you got to remember how low we're taking the military down.
All right.
Just the Army alone.
Yeah, in terms of numbers,
yeah,
your force.
Exactly.
Right.
And so, see, that's causing a lot of
distress,
consternation, and everything else, because we're taking it down so low, and they say, well, we'll bring it back if we need it. It don't just come back overnight.
You're talking about people who have been trained over a period of years.
And we're letting them go.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's a very true statement, that there is a lot of fury, if that's what you want to call it, with those
and
retired.
So much going on around the world, with China building those reefs up in the islands, and of course Ukraine and Putin, and the whole thing now with him opening up another air base in Syria. They haven't been in the Middle East in 40 years. Now Russia's back in Syria.
Hacksaw, let me ask you, you do a lot of traveling. Do you hear people expressing a similar fury to you? Because you're known as an all-American guy, right? All-American wrestler. You carried the flag into the ring. USA chant.
There's a whole different feeling overseas when I travel in Europe about America.
What do you mean?
It's almost like a joke. It's like America, right? France will make their first move. England will stand up. But America, it's that we kind of lost our standing in the world, I believe. I used to, for years, we'll travel all around the world waving the American flag, and the folks would chant, USA, USA.
In other parts of the world.
Other parts of the world. Now, not at all. And people, I think, don't look at our country as the way they used to.
Can that change back with a different president, say?
Oh, I for sure. I think we were just on a different track, and I think obviously this election is going to be a milestone for our country, in which direction our country is going to go in the future.
Yeah. All right. Once again, both of these gentlemen are authors of books. It's the gift-giving season coming up. These are great gifts, and great gift for yourself, too, by the way. Streets of Mogadishu by Colonel Danny McKnight. You can get that at DannyMcKnight.com, or, of course, any of the online places. And then, of course, Hacksaw Jim Duggan has written his autobiography entitled Hacksaw, The Jim Duggan Story. You can get that at HacksawJimDuggan.com. Duggan you spell with 2 G's, Duggan. And the situation, once again, in San Bernardino, we will keep our eye on it. Nonetheless, tomorrow night, we're going to try to help. Now, Colonel McKnight makes a good point that it's impossible to vet these people, but we're going to do our duty as citizens and try to help. Right, Mike?
No, Chris, I appreciate Danny's comment. His comment falls in line with all the professional people involved in the military. It's impossible to vet, right? So do we want them crossing our borders? Do they want them rolling in? Well, you know what we've decided, and we're asking our listeners to join in. We need to present a list to the president of what the vetting questions should be, because obviously he doesn't get it. And obviously they're coming across day in and day out. Now, remember, in Syria, 90% of the Syrians are Muslim, and the other 10% are various different religions and everything. Now, I'm going to give you an example. We want you to write a question that we could use to help vet, and then we could send this off to Washington and see if our people would pick up on how intelligent we are. Now, my first question, and for name purposes, we'll call this gentleman Ahmed. That sounds like he might be Syrian, right? Well, Ahmed, as you should be aware, holidays have great meaning to Americans. Which holidays would you feel best represents your feelings? Now remember, we're trying to get a profile on this guy. There'll be numerous questions. A, Christmas. B, Easter. C, 9/11.
Oh.
Now you take, with a whole list of questions, we're going to be able to come up with a profile that will help us eliminate some of these terrorists. So it's up to you, our call-ins. Tomorrow, the game begins, and there'll be some great prizes. So should be interesting. We've already had a few, Chris, come in through the side. That's what I call it, through the phones.
Through email, yeah, we got this one. What do you like best about women's burqas?
Listen to this one.
The screen covering the eyes, the fact that you can't see what's underneath because it terrifies you, or C, enjoying the luxury of a lengthy strip tease free of charge every night. That's what I vote for.
I mean, our clients seem to be able to put this package together.
Yeah, they seem to be able
so
to
this is going to be exciting tomorrow.
Put it in perspective. So.
Right. We need a little professionalism shown here.
Yeah,
so we'll see where we go.
Not a chance.
All right. Well, Colonel, you're coming back in a couple of weeks on the 15th.
Be back in 2 weeks.
Yep. And Hacksaw, you're welcome back anytime, of course, as well.
Thank you. Love to come in here and talk with you guys. It's great.
And of course, Mike, you'll be back tomorrow night when we do our contest.